Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR. And so here I am recording this on September 11th after the market has closed, and Palantir closed on the day at $34.85, being up about 1/4% on the day, but then pulling back a little more than that, about 14 cents in the after hours so far. And so, yeah, I just wanted to go over the chart because Palantir recently got some excellent news that they will be listed on the S&P 500 starting September 23rd. So that is a couple Mondays from now. And yeah, with that great news comes great responsibility in recognizing that, there are buy the rumor, sell the news scenarios. Maybe this is a buy the news scenario where this will continue going higher. But if in case it does start to turn around, I wanted to go over some levels to the downside as well as the upside so we can be prepared for, if it does go much higher, maybe those are levels of resistance and we should not be FOMOing in, looking for a pullback to get a better price if we want to add more. And so really that is what I am looking for. I would like to add more to my position, but I do think that Palantir is a little high right now, just considering the news. But of course, I could be wrong and we could always go higher. But the levels that stand out to me that we can see up here on the chart, I did have 3514 marked here, which is a 1618 from this Fibonacci retracement here, going from the high of 2983 that was hit on July 18th and then pulling back to 2123 hit on August 5th, which was, a pretty down day in the markets, gapping down. It also happened to be Palantir's earnings day. So while that was kind of a panic day to have earnings, it was a great dip buying opportunity. As you can see here, Palantir is up from the low of that day about 64%. So a pretty massive move from that. But yeah, what's the next massive move? Is it going to continue higher or is it going to be pulling back? And so really, if I do take a step back, we can see one thing that I have been keeping an eye on, which is this uptrending channel based on these 3 pivot points here. I'll just zoom in so we can see them a little bit better. If we do zoom in on the chart, the Palantir is trading above that channel. So it looks like it's a breakout. But is this going to confirm? Is this going to continue higher? Or is this kind of a fake out breakout and we're going to see a retracement? And so like I had mentioned, that level 3514 is a level that I have been keeping an eye on. And for me personally, I actually trimmed at that level yesterday. I don't have much more to trim. So, that's kind of my last line. I would like to be adding more lower. But if that doesn't happen, I also want to be prepared to the upside. And so if we were to start going to the upside, what are some levels that I think are pretty key we need to be closing above? And so one of those levels is going to be the high that was hit on September 10th, which was 3520. So just barely piercing that 1618 and then pulling back. So you might say, oh, well, but it looks pretty good. We have this big green candle here on Wednesday. Although, we only went up, like I said, about 1/4%. We did drop down and then close higher than we did on the 10th, which we closed at 34.76. So it does look good that we closed above that level. But really, I think the signal is getting a close higher than the prior high, suggesting that there's still momentum pushing the stock higher. And so we haven't seen that yet. And so I am on the side that I think this will be rolling over. I think it will be retesting this uptrending channel, the top of it, and breaking lower. But, if we do get a close above 3520, that could be signaling more moves to the upside. And so there's one right here that is another 1618 at 3549. Not much higher than current price, but, we could be testing that. And that is based on this yellow retracement here, going from the high hit on August 22nd, coming down to the low of September 4th. But, it could also go even higher. So I added the 2 618s from these retracements so we can get an idea of some other levels to the upside. So the 2 618 from this yellow retracement is going to be at a price of $39.31 or right around $40. Makes sense. Psychological level. Two $20 bills makes 40, so maybe we're going there. But if we do get up there, there might be some resistance, so keep a lookout for that. And then just above that, the 2 618 from this red retracement over here, that did have the 35.14 level that we just hit yesterday. So that 2 618 on that retracement is around $44 here at $43.74, or right around 45, or maybe even getting up to around $50 a share. Also, psychological level, 2 20s and a 10, or just a $50 bill getting up there, might be seeing some resistance. But if in case we do not get closes above 35.20, we do not go higher, and this is a sell the news event on the 23rd, or perhaps just leading up to it, and then maybe we rally after it is listed on the S&P. But up until then, or perhaps after, if we are starting to pull back, levels to the downside that stand out to me, one is this yellow line here at 33.13, or right around $33. That was the high hit on August 22nd, this pivot high here, so perhaps that will be acting as support. And then from this retracement I have drawn here from the low hit on September 4th of 29.31 going up to yesterday's high of 35.20, and of course we could be getting higher than that, so this retracement might be adjusted a little bit. But moving to the downside, if we do break below $33, what are some levels that stand out to me? One is the golden pocket here. That's at a price range from about $31 up to around $31.50, and that does seem to correspond with the tops over here, so maybe there's some support if we do pull back. Another level is the 786 here at right around $30.50, and just below that we have this gap here at $30.33, and so that was the closing price from September 6th before we did gap up. And so I could see price coming down to right around $30 a share. And, while I don't have any orders placed and my average is below 30, I don't really want to be raising it, but I could see price pulling back to 30, and I feel like that is getting into the zone of adding. Whereas right now, I think we're kind of in the zone of caution. Wait and see what happens, whether it's breaking to the upside or the downside. And so for me, $30 is, a target level, or, that could be 30 to about $30.50. I do think we will be heading down there. And then also, just below those two levels, we do have this high that was hit on July 18th at $29.83, right around $30 a share. So, a lot of support there with this pivot high here. If we do pull back, we might very well be finding support there. So I feel like that is a great discount buying level at $30 a share. But worst case scenario, in my view, if we do go lower, I actually don't think that we'll pull back to any of these levels. Palantir has left a number of gaps in the past, and I don't think there's any reason to think that Palantir will be filling them. And so there is one gap here right around $24 a share. I am not worried about that being filled, but perhaps you can see it on the chart, perhaps you cannot. There is one level here that I have grayed out that I want to bring back into picture, and that is this purple line here, which is right around, $27 to $28 a share. I could see price coming down to that level, but I think we would be finding support there, and I think that would be a discount of a lifetime moving forward after that. And so one reason why I think we could be pulling back to that level is because we do have a lot of consolidation here that would then be acting as support. So I think 27 to 28, that would be a great dip buying level. But then if we do take a step back further in time, we do have a pivot point right over here when we hit the highs around the beginning of March of this year. there's a pivot point there, but I actually have to switch over to the weekly time frame to show what that drawing represents. That is the neckline of an inverse head and shoulders pattern here. So we have the head right here with the right shoulder over here, and we got the left shoulder over here. I just didn't connect it because I wanted to be having the pivot point being the high for the week ending on September 17th of 2021. And so going all the way back to that date and actually coming back to around the end of February 2021, that is how we get that inverse head and shoulders pattern. And pulling back to that level would be a retrace to the scene of the crime. And so if we do pull back to that level, it could, even be corresponding with the bottom side of this channel. Maybe we hit that around December. Who knows? I'm not trying to be bearish, just trying to give us some levels that we can prepare for. If Palantir is pulling back to $28, $27 a share, somewhere around there in December, that could be, like the discount that we saw here at the beginning of August when we hit a low of right around 21, 23, coming down to 28, 27, somewhere around there. That could be another great discount that we may never see again. So that is what I am keeping my eye on. But realistically, I think worst case scenario, at least for the month ahead, I think $30 a share, I think that would be a great discounted dip buying opportunity, but the ultimate one is really going to come around $27 to $28. And then as far as the upside goes, if we do break out, I think $40 a share realistically is probably the highest that we go before we do get a clear pullback. Maybe we retest the top of that channel after that, but maybe, I'm wrong, and maybe it continues up to around $45 to $50 a share. That would just be excellent, but I do think it is good to prepare for the possibility that this is a sell the news scenario, and that, it might be a good idea not to sell necessarily, but to trim a little bit so one can more aggressively buy back lower if we do return to some of these levels. Like $30 a share, wouldn't you like to get more down there before we go up to 50? Personally, I would, but you do you. But those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, you guys.